good trip?
Yeah.
Was
Nice.
that submitted?
Weather was great
Oh, wait,
down
the
there.
third.
Oh, yeah.
What's that?
When is
Don't
it
miss.
submitted in
Didn't
the
have
next
a
couple days?
Friday.
bad day, really. Coldest day was, I don't know,
Yeah, they've
high
had-
70s.
They've had a really good,
You know,
I'm gonna say
tomorrow.
3 months.
Yeah.
Do you know what's
They have down there.
Oh, yeah. They've
What's
had,
happening where?
tomorrow?
you know, it's just, even a bad day down there, it's
Oh.
Yeah.
heck of a lot better than it is here.
Hold on.
Do you go in there much?
Yeah, last year.
We didn't have any rain and we were there for a couple weeks.
It was like 10 of us in Fisher's Landing.
I drove down, flew the kids and
3 times.
wife and kids.
Yep.
We go to hang out.
You go and do this.
Hard to go,
It's not fun
hard to go with that
when
many,
it's
Oh, you-
having your car, their car seats, all the stuff, strollers. Pretty much, somebody's gotta
Ever
drive.
since
Yeah.
then, we all got closer, trying to.
Yeah.
Plug that in, Sandy.
Yep.
The older we
Thank you.
get, we're supposed to socialize more. That's what they tell us.
Look
Wow,
alike.
it's 6 o'clock.
Did you say look alike?
Yep.
We're supposed to socialize. The older you get, you
Oh,
gotta
I know.
maintain those social connections.
Yeah, I know, but we're not that old, but I do fall down the ice.
If you didn't drink so much, you wouldn't fall down as much.
Like, how was I gonna drink more?
Okay, 6 o'clock. Welcome to the Town of Alexandria Board meeting for May 30th, 2025. Please stand for the pledge.
April 30th.
Did I say May? April 30th. I pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Take a motion to approve the abstract of bills, which we have none, so I'll move on to the town board meeting minutes. I need a motion to approve those.
I'll make a motion.
I'll second. Motion by Sean, second by Dale. Any discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, none. Public concerns. Do we have any public concerns? If not, we'll go right to Andrew and let Andrew, do your deal before Rob.
Just wanted to give an update on the project, and there's a couple things I had emailed out. Brent, I hope you got the email.
I got the email and I passed it around and I sent forward to everybody.
Yeah, I didn't bring prints of that just 'cause there's quite a bit of paper there, and but feel free to review those documents. I sent a draft AIA agreement, which is an owner-architect agreement. It's a standard AIA agreement. Just want to have your attorney kind of look through that, really, and see if there's any language you want added, removed, edited, you know, just on your behalf. I do have to, that's a draft, there are things I have to add to that, but I wanted to get it in front of you guys to review. The other part of the email I included, part 1, part 2, and part 3 of the long form seeker. Part 1 is the part that, as the project sponsor and applicant, we complete, and then the lead agency will complete parts 2 and 3 as part of the seeker, the public review process. I know we had talked about the town board, you know, previously completing the seeker process. I really, just in the interest of avoiding a potential conflict of interest, I was thinking it might not be a bad idea to actually put that in front of the village planning board to execute, and just essentially go through a site plan review process like any applicant would. I just find that having that sort of checks and balance will, you know, I think be better suited.
Cover us, yeah.
Cover us, right.
So that's really what that piece is about to you. It's kind of just like, we'd be calling our own shots.
Exactly. You're doing the application technically. I'm putting it together on your behalf.
Yep.
But you then would also be the lead agency technically. And I just find, you know, even though that may, you know, hold water in some respects, I think just having a different agency perform the seeker process for you would be better. It's more bulletproof.
Yeah.
Okay.
And just with the nature of the project, I think it just gives the village a little bit of sort of buy-in to the process too, because we haven't you know, we haven't really put anything out in front of them. And you're not required to. You could do this without doing that. I just think that,
I got a residential neighborhood on the backside with 4 or 5 houses with families and parking lot and all that. I agree.
I just think that we have the time, I'd plan to do that in June. That's when I see us finishing the seeker, as well as having the site plans and documents, available to submit. So my recommendation would just be to put it in front of that planning board and let them run through that process, and it takes the onus off the town board. But the draft there,
Yeah, it's the most appropriate.
don't you feel? Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely, have a planning board do it.
Just the nature of that project. So I'll talk with Lee Schimmel on that. I'll just make sure we get all the paperwork in for the June meeting, and we'll finalize the seeker as part of the part 1 of that. And they'll complete 2 and 3. That is a type 1 action because it's a municipally owned recreation facility. So that's one of the requirements. Most projects we see here, unlisted actions, but this would fall under a type 1, which would trigger the long form seeker. We usually do short forms, but the long form is required for the project. So those 2 things I'd sent, feel free to review those and let me know if you or your attorney have any comments on those. And then I would like to finalize, my goal is, in the next couple weeks, finalizing the agreement. I believe your next board meeting would be May 21st.
Yep.
So I'd like to have that finalized and able for you to review and execute for that meeting, so that we can, officially get into the, you know, full design process for that. So I'll work to finalize it on my end, plus incorporate any revisions that you have there. I provided a schedule, going forward from today, you know, what I anticipate for the project. Again, early May, finalizing the agreement. May 21st, that's the next town board meeting. That's where I could foresee, you know, the board executing. You'd take a vote on that agreement to execute that. So, presuming everything's agreeable there, we could move forward from that date on the contract. Late May, then right after that meeting, effectively, we're moving into the final design process. I have June listed here for finalizing the seeker and the schematic design and submitting to the village planning board. That'd essentially be through a site plan review application. July, we'd start design development. August, September timeframe would be construction documents process. And then October would be the timeframe we'd be finishing the construction documents up and then putting the project out to bid. And project of this size, you know, we want a decent enough time to encourage bidders to look at the project and have enough time to put together competitive bids. So I would say like in late November, early December bid opening would be appropriate. And then you take your time on contract award. You have so many days that you need to award, but I could foresee that happening in January. And I believe that would coincide well too with your next round of grants. You know, we'll know what that looks like by January. January, February next year we'd be going through the submittal process. So after you award, there's a whole submittal process with the contractors that occur before we mobilize. I see mobilization in mid-March after the ice goes out. So as soon as the ice is off, contractors are mobilizing, and then we're finalizing construction towards the end of the year, November, December. That date we will set inside the bid documents on milestone dates for the contractors. It's hard to set those right now without fully knowing the scope of work and the schedule for when the ice comes off. So that's something we'll just have to coordinate, but certainly the main goal is to try to get the facility operational for that, for ice that next season. So So that's what I have for you today, just updates, drafts on those two things, plus the schedule. It's gonna move fairly quickly into design here in May, June, July, August. We're gonna be, pretty busy into the project, right through till October. I did wanna talk to you too, Brent. I don't know, you had a call today with that project, that manager,
Yeah,
and,
it was interesting. That's owned by a family.
yeah, so that's a private, it seems like it's privately owned and managed. And, we don't, we don't have to go through it all today, but just, I think we could take some interesting aspects there of that project. The biggest difference I see with that is just that it's private, so they're not subject to prevailing wage and other kind of financial constraints. But it certainly is, it's impressive that they were able to do that.
There's a lot there.
Yeah. Has that been, it's been built then? Or is it under construction, or is it finished?
I think it's built. The picture that I saw that made a lot of people ask questions about it, it looked like it was finished.
Okay.
But this way, the structure was up. I don't know the size, but I called our iceman who built a lot of rinks, and I asked him, I've heard of these sand-based floors.
Yeah.
And he said, obviously you can't do turf, there's a lot of things.
There's no concrete effectively,
there's no
it's sand, and the cooling system is embedded in sand.
Yeah.
Oh, really?
He spoke very negatively
Yeah.
about it, yeah.
Yeah, and retrofits and repairs and all that.
Yeah.
I mean, the concrete, once you pour that, you're
I think he told me he probably saved you about $300,000 in concrete.
the modular slab, which is a lot, but it's on a project of that size.
Yeah.
Did he say, you said that our ICE people were negative about?
Sand-based.
Yeah. Is that the same system they had up the Bonnie Gap?
No, I asked that. They had, Chris poured the concrete up there, but he had a mat system up there for a while.
Yes, he did.
One on top of the
I
slab,
thought
right?
that might be a sand deal, but there was no sand, it was concrete.
Okay.
Yeah, but just their ability to produce a project of that size for that 8.5, I mean, if that is indeed the figure, I mean, that's...
The other thing is, if you
Very
noticed in the
competitive.
stuff I sent you, there's two other rinks right next to it.
Yeah,
So now there's 3 rinks.
yeah.
So I'm sure some of those other rinks probably have concrete and they can use them.
Yeah, I sent you two, did you see the link? I found a link to the application, they did a application, did I send that?
I don't, maybe you did, I didn't.
I looked at that project online, they had a public application that they had submitted to the local county. I think they were looking for some tax incentives, and they had and that was just last July,
Yeah.
which is why I was wondering on time frame where construction was at. It's been, obviously, it's been approved and under some type of construction, but certainly just worth, looking at. The more information they're willing to share with us on.
Is this the only rink with this type of style? I mean,
No, there are others, certainly. It's, that, we're not even touching the sort of rink base over there, so it's kind of a moot point for us, that aspect of that project.
It'd be interesting, just to make sure that obviously there's gonna be an RFP, right? Like, or a request for bids, if the contractor who's doing that build gets our plans in front of them.
Yeah, certainly they'll be able to bid on your, anybody can bid on your project that has the proper contractor qualification,
I
certainly.
mean, I prefer it stays local, but
Yeah,
that just seems like there's a lot there for that price tag.
that was a local, it was Lefroy.
Yeah.
I think they were from Henrietta. So it's a local builder, probably a local design builder. I don't know if they come this far, but
Right.
we're gonna publicly bid it and reach out to garner the highest level of interest. We're bidding at the right time frame in the fall for spring work, so all that should work out well in our favor. The thing right now that I think has a lot of people worried are just the nature of the economy with the tariffs.
Yep.
Potential tariffs, future tariffs. You know, wherever that goes, we're all in the same boat, right? So,
Yep.
so if water's up or down, we're in it together, but, that could be something that, depending on where that goes, could have an impact on the material side and impact on the project. So we'll just have to see, it's just kind of a wait and see thing, but, other than that, are there any questions on
Nope.
timing or process? Is everybody in agreement on going to the village planning?
Yeah, I know, like, Tim had a question on it, I know he asked that kind of via email, and I was of a similar thought, like,
Yeah.
just the why, 'cause it's more of like we're not armed with the knowledge, right, but now it makes sense.
Well, and they do the seeker, the planning board there, and so does the town planning board, but they're familiar with the seeker process.
Yeah.
Whereas if we executed it on behalf of the town board, it's not a process that you're running through every day.
Right.
And with it being a type 1 long form, I mean, it's a pretty extensive, process,
Yep.
so.
I'm good with it.
And I just think too, it allows us to have that public meeting with the village,
Yeah, that's important too.
so,
Yep, no question.
all right?
Thanks.
Thank you, Andrew.
Yep. You want me to stick around for anything, or?
I think we're good.
Okay.
Yeah, I think we're good.
Good.
Okay, thank you.
Thanks, Joe.
Okay, old business, Rob Campany. Got all kinds of things after your name here, Rob.
Where do you wanna start?
In the order you got them, however you wanna go.
Speed limit signs, the DOT wants to move them where we propose. You wanna put them in people's front yards. I think we should look at it over there someday, because
Yeah.
we wanted to put them out at the first, so there's a 30-mile-an-hour sign as you come in, then there's another from the north.
Yeah.
And the second one is right in somebody's front yard, and they want us to put it there, and I'm not sure I agree with that.
Coming from the north?
Yeah, coming from the north. Coming from the south, there's 3 speed limit signs, and I think they're okay with it after the first one there, but I really think we need to look at it with you, Brent, and maybe Zach. Not that Zach has any jurisdiction there, but
I see these signs all over the place. I was kind of.
you know, part of me says, let's just put them right outside of the right of way. Then they don't have jurisdiction, you know, put them wherever we want. Mark the right of way and put them up, because the state is just being such a stickler over the permit project. So, I mean, it's a thought. I don't know if there would be any retaliation, but it was dragged on for so long.
Yeah, it's been going on for what, like 8 months now?
Yeah, since last fall.
Probably longer, yeah.
Or last summer. So, I think we meet over there, I'll show you where they want us to put them. And then if we're gonna permit them there, we need to make sure the homeowner's okay with it.
Yeah.
Okay, you don't want a flashing sign in the front yard, and it's got a solar panel on it. You know, I can see where you can catch some flash and stuff, so. So Brian, just say the word, and I'll run over there with you.
Yeah, then what's the liability like if that's in someone's front yard?
Yeah.
Probably gotta have them sign off, right?
Oh, I'd imagine.
Yeah, you'd have to
there's gotta
get
be a waiver.
Sure.
You'd have to get an easement, basically.
Yeah.
Yeah.
St. Lawrence Park culvert, I reached out again to the DEC, I sent them an email, I tried to call them, and I haven't gotten any return phone calls from Molly Farrell, so I'll keep bugging her. So I really don't have anything to report there. I mean, again, and I'm not sure how the board feels, we could put the application in, and that forces them in a time frame to review it and either, you know, to respond or not, right? Say it's okay.
I'm okay with doing that. I mean, we met with them over there when, Rob? November?
Yeah,
And they said they'd get back to us.
yep. The things have slowed, they're really slow now, DEC, getting any permits through. for some reason, I don't know.
I think we should just submit an
Just submit
application.
the-
I agree.
You know, I don't know what, you know, how Tim feels. Tim, I think he didn't wanna do anything, but it's up to you guys.
I think Tim was more concerned with spending money, wasn't he?
Yeah,
Yes, I mean, we're putting an application in, and we're not spending any money.
yeah. Well, you spent a little money with me.
Yeah, with you, but,
So you're spending something.
yeah, well, so we'll give you the $20, I mean,
Yeah.
I'm not arguing over that. But,
I mean,
I
we can
agree
do
with
that.
John.
If you wanna talk to, you know, when the rest of the board's here, or Tim,
Yeah, we can run it by them.
I mean, I'm fine with throwing an application in. I mean, there is a little bit of work to put the app in. We gotta do some drawings and submit, right, the concept of what we wanna do.
I agree with John, throwing it in.
I send out an email and make sure that these guys know what we're doing and how we're doing it. And if somebody has a real strong opposition for it, then we'll have to.
I know you're gonna get hammered by the Swan Bay people, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm surprised they haven't shown up yet, but maybe they're not back up here yet, too.
Right.
I have quite a few of them that contact me, wanna know where it stands.
I mean, we could get the application in a few weeks. So anyways, I'll wait to hear back from you guys.
Okay.
On that. The Redwood sewer ordinance, I went through and I created a new sewer ordinance. I don't know how widely it's been circulated, but I decided that the old ordinance was so antiquated, I started with a new template, and I kinda started from scratch. There's things that we're gonna have to obviously talk about, ranging from fees to responsibilities. I think I attempted to capture the charges, right, the EDU versus the benefit assessment. I don't know if you've had a chance to look at
I
it.
did go through it today, I've got some notes written
Sure.
down for you, and as I was trying to write down the notes, I thought maybe it'd be better if I just rewrote this section, 'cause there were, and I've got it all laid out in there, I'd like to kinda take 10 minutes afterwards to review it with you,
Sure.
because there was some stuff that I felt was out of place and didn't
Sure.
read well, and I thought,
No, that's fine.
but,
You know, you're gonna have to make a decision on how you handle the people that, you know, damage their pots or pulled stuff out, there's still a pot there. You're gonna have to maybe better define that. I know that's a particular concern, and I don't know if you can do anything, quite frankly, because the existing ordinance really is kinda silent on that. So I don't know what you can do about those particular situations. You know, just do what the old ordinance said. Because this is gonna be a process, right? You get the new law, Andy should review it, you're gonna have to have a public hearing, you know, you're gonna adopt a new law, in essence. So, it's gonna take a few months for the whole process but
Have you, I'm sure you've taken looks at other ordinances that you work for other towns.
that's what I did, I took.
And I'm sure that in their ordinance, they must have something on damaged pods or something.
Yeah, they basically say that all damages, as a result of the homeowner, are the homeowner's responsibility. And that's the way this
There
new
you
one
go.
is written. I'm just saying, I don't know if you can go back. You can, when you adopt the ordinance, then you can go forward that way, but you
Right,
can't
that's
make
what
it
I'm getting at.
retroactive,
Yeah.
right? I think you're stuck with what you have,
Yeah,
right?
but at
Unless
least
the
moving
new ordinance-
forward, it will protect the town
It will,
more.
sure, that's the
Yeah,
whole
that's what I
idea.
was getting at.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But that's exactly what I did. I took some ordinances that I had worked on before and started from scratch.
Perfect.
So Sandy, I can stick around when we're done. Dingman Point Water District, that's really kinda, you gotta tell me what you wanna do there. If you want to look at that, you got that letter, right, from a handful of residents. So if you want me to look at that,
Our process is what? Form a district or what's?
well, the process is to authorize me to look at the cost, do a district formation report. And then I come up with a capital cost to do it, to put the pipes in the ground, right? And what anticipated user cost might be, and then you have a public hearing with those involved, you know, invite those involved.
How many people were on that letter?
4 or 6, I'm not sure.
How many parcels are down there?
Oh, a bunch. Yeah.
It's not on our priority list.
Yeah.
Well, another way you could handle it is, you could do a survey of all the property owners down there. I've done that before, a simple either door-to-door survey or send a mailing out. I don't know what kind of response you'll get, but at least have better indication. Is it 50-50? Is it 60-40? You know, it's just a simple one-pager, and to see, and to gauge what the broader sense is down there. I can give you a draft
I can't see
thing
what's
to
gonna
send
be a
out.
cheap
You'd have to
water
create a
district.
mailing.
No.
That's why when he's just talking about a capital cost report or.
A lot of granite down through there and everything.
Oh, yeah, it's not and it's long, you know, it's kind of
long.
sparsely populated, and then certainly you got Wagner's at the end, right?
Right.
But it's a ways to get there. I mean, it's not.
Well, it is, and you gotta come up here and get on this main
It's millions
somehow.
and millions of dollars. Yeah, it's a big deal.
Yeah,
Yeah.
So maybe to gauge the public support first in that area,
I think
I
so.
don't know, it's like,
or not do anything.
maybe you make a phone call to who gave you the letter and say, come to the next board meeting with as many people as you think it's, like, I don't really, even a survey's gonna have cost, and I mean, it's 4 people.
Yeah.
That's just where I'm at right now, you know, if they walk in here with 30,
Yeah.
after
I
after
can't-
you say something, then maybe it's worth us going the survey route to survey everyone, and
Well,
then.
survey isn't a lot of cost, it's just sending you know,
Yeah, I know, it's just,
you know.
I can't see the
kind of
end of
we'll
this.
be
sandy
getting asked for
something
surveys
out.
for everything
I
after
can't
that.
see the end of Digman Point Road wanting to do a water line. I just can't.
I mean, they absorb the cost.
Yeah,
Yeah, they're gonna have to pay for it.
Okay.
And you're not gonna do it without significant grant money, right? It's not gonna be affordable without grant money.
It doesn't,
Does the state got a limit on that, what that number can be?
Well, yeah, so the state does have a median, right? I don't know what it is this year for water. Say it's $900 a year per user. If you go above that, you have to demonstrate that the people in the affected district are willing to pay more than that. So,
Yeah. Well,
anyway, it's in your court and what you want
Sean,
to do.
along the lines of what you're saying, you wanna advertise a meeting, kinda do like a public meeting and.
no, I'm just saying, you respond, one person really sent the letter, right? And it had a few signatures on it?
Yep.
So
Well, there's a
say,
number of signatures on it. There were, I don't know, 8 or 10 signatures.
Was there?
it's still not a lot.
Yeah.
But what I'm saying is if you contacted the person who sent you the letter, right? Say, hey, it's that big a deal, get whoever, and come to our next,
We need more response, yeah.
our next planned meeting, and come up and we'll hear them out that way, and, you know, like I said, it's kinda like when we kinda went down the Sportsplex project, we didn't really call for a public hearing, we just said we were talking about it, and
Yeah,
there's a bunch of people who walked in here in support, you know, it's,
Sure.
I mean, that's a free way of doing it for the next 30 days, I guess, or few weeks, and
Yeah.
see what we get.
So I'll contact some people on that letter.
I think so.
Yeah.
yeah, I think that's a good idea.
Okay. Anything else on that, Rob? We're good
No.
there?
That's it. And we haven't heard anything back on the Route 12 sewer grant app yet.
No.
I expect we'll hear something in a month or so.
That's from the state.
Yeah.
You'll hear before June?
Probably,
Yeah, okay.
I think so, especially now that the budget's passed, I think.
I was wondering, yeah. Did the budget pass actually, or is it just, I know she said she had a deal, but.
Nine sections that aren't agreed upon.
What's that?
There are 9 sections that are not,
Not agreed upon, okay.
They're getting there, she says.
yeah.
Yeah.
I think they've done that before, though.
Extender, yeah. Okay,
I don't know, is there anything else not on the list?
Nope.
number 2, investment CDs, rates and terms, everybody's got that paperwork, plus I sent it to them on the email. The best, rate is that 18-month number that we looked at. What's everybody's thoughts? Somebody wanna do a motion?
I'd like to split, I mean, my personal feeling is splitting some up. I do like the 4.05 for 18 months, but there's also 4.05 for 3 years. And I don't think that would be a bad thing to drop some money into.
I guess my thoughts about
And we need to decide what we're gonna pull out of our
checking.
pool checking to contribute.
Talking with Nicole and with Mike Lasan as far as our checking, we did a cash flow analysis that I sent everybody a while ago that has per month and has 3 months added together of what we use and what we need. You know, so
What was that number, do you remember?
It was about $1 million.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
The average abstract is 45,000 and the average payroll is 5,000. And then the other average payroll is
Gotta be more than 5,000.
about 40.
40, yeah.
Yeah. So, the only thing with 3 years, if we did, the 3 years, if we did 3 years, I just wouldn't wanna put as much there.
Yeah.
In case we needed it,
I wouldn't either.
you know. As far as where we are on our pool checking account, talking with Nicole and Mike, I think we would be safe at 750.
I was thinking 500,000.
Yep. Well, I'd rather take the safer figure,
Yeah.
the 500,000.
Especially the way that the economy is right now.
Yep.
I gotta agree with you.
So you wanna lock it for 3 years?
Not all of it.
Right, but the amount we're going to, okay. So you got a bunch of different amounts in front of you here. If you wanna take 500
I think we take 500.
for 3 years,
No, I was gonna do, this was my thoughts. You know, we're gonna take 500 out of the joint checking.
Yep.
Okay?
yep, add it to,
Pretty much this number here. Right? 1.7.
yep,
And then I think we should do 1.5 at the 18 months. That's not super long term, but I think it's good debt.
yep,
And then 400K for the 3-year mark. That's not a lot. And that'll leave 329 in that money market, which is money that we can touch
yep,
whenever.
any day,
Yeah, it's kinda like contingency.
yep. So say that again, you got 1.5 at
0.05,
4.05 for 18 months,
yeah,
and then you've got
400K
at
4.05 at 3 years.
3 years. And also, does that include pulling out of the checking?
We would be pulling 500K out of the checking.
I'm fine with that, I'll take a
And
motion.
that would leave the money market figure at 329, 350, 46, I think.
Yep. And that's kind of a safety net.
I think it's safe. I mean, the 18 months, I mean, the nice thing about that is we can budget that pretty easy.
Yeah.
Next year.
Yeah.
And the other amount we can budget for the next 3 years, but it doesn't.
Yeah.
I don't know, with having that money in the money market and going conservative out of the joint checking, it seems like we still maintain some flexibility and get some good predictable interest for the next. And I think, I mean, it's just my opinion, those rates are gonna go down, I think, over time.
Oh, yeah,
They're not gonna look that good.
yeah. I mean, if you watch the market
Yeah.
every day,
Yeah, the treasury's gonna come down and all that's
Yeah.
gonna come down with it.
Yeah, they told me in that meeting today that they were using the treasury for this stuff, and I
Oh, I
think
bet.
2 months ago, we said the treasury started falling off.
Yep.
Yeah.
So I'll make a motion.
Motion by Sean to do what he just said, the 1.5 at 4.05 for 18, 400 at 4.05 for 3 years, and 500 out of the checking.
Yep, which should leave 329, 350 in the money market.
I'll second that motion.
Motion by Sean, second by Dale, any discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye, all those opposed, none. Next item, decision on town hall bathrooms. I've called, Steve Umstead was the low bidder. I've called him and asked him to come and talk to us about it and so on, and he's away on vacation and won't be back. He'll get a hold of me as soon as he comes back,
Okay.
okay? Adoption of new rec center rates. Everybody's got that on their Chromebook. We passed this around, we've gone over this quite a bit, and, I think it makes sense. I also have talked to the guys at the rink, or Dennis has talked to me about it, and just any concerns or questions, and, he had one question on it, and, I think we're all in agreement. Do you have anything to add?
Yeah, I just think this is more clear and more well-defined, and I think when people were asking questions before to multiple different people, they were getting different answers, and this is,
It's definitely more well-defined, and it's a simple rate chart.
yeah, it's simple, and it encourages contract
I was gonna say-
prices, which is good for us on the predictability side, the scheduling side. It definitely makes us a competitive
Yeah.
complex, that's for sure. And, you know, there's rates in there that benefit our town taxpayers and our local organizations and our schools, and that's all important to us, so.
So the only changes are, there's some contract pricing in there, and that it's tied to the number of times you rent it a week or a month, right? Depending on whether.
How many times per week over the course of a monthly
Season.
period?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, take a motion.
I'll make a motion.
Second.
Motion by Sean, second by Dale, any discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye, all those opposed, none. New business, is a donation to Christmas in July event and parade. I think I sent everybody the response from our lawyer, which is on the Chromebook, about if we can do it, and there's no question we can do it. As long as we're not carrying caskets and everything else in our trucks.
Yep.
So I'll take a motion on doing that. The only other thing that I want to ask in relation to this is giving $1,000 out of celebrations to the Christmas in July event.
Well, I would like to see that account, has it been touched, because sometimes that goes to, like, did that go to pay back Emily Chase for the,
I'm not sure. That's it.
cause typically that event there,
Yeah.
I think we'll reimburse out of that account.
Okay.
So I'd just like to,
See where that account is.
yeah, I don't think we budget a lot in that account.
No, we
It's a small number.
Yeah.
So before we do that, we've used that every year, it's just not on my mind what exactly that goes for.
Yeah.
Maybe it's that event.
I can.
I don't know.
No, it isn't. No, we never
We've
contributed.
I
never
didn't think,
contributed.
yeah, so
We never-
it's another event. It's another event.
Yeah, and I got the board's okay, and the Andy Silver's okay to put a vehicle or two in the parade.
Yeah,
Participate in the parade. I mean, I go to the parades in Clayton, I go to the other parades, and the town's got stuff decorated to the hilt, and really nice addition to the parade.
so I'll make the motion that we can donate
Participate.
$1,000 and participate, contingent on us making sure that the money's in the.
Okay?
And I'll second that.
Motion by Sean, second by Dale. Any further discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, no.
I participated in that parade last year, and I'm telling you, I've never seen so many people in the downtown section.
Yeah,
I
it's great.
saw the letter that we got, it, what, 44 floats?
Yeah,
Yeah.
and, it was, like he said, it's a family event, and there was a lot of kids,
Yeah.
a lot of families, and so I think it's real good for the village.
Okay. Next one is the zoning ordinance update. Rob talked about the other part. This is different. So we have Tom Gardner, and how many people do you have, Tom?
Three others.
3 others? Yeah.
Chairman of the zoning board, chairman of the planning committee, and Ron Beach.
Yep. Just giving an update so everybody knows what we're doing and that Tom's heading it up, and, that's really all I have for that. So I'll move on to the next one. Town truck participation, and we just talked about that. That's in the employee event. It's okay by our attorney. Schedule info session for chamber and bed tax. I've asked the chamber to provide us with some financial documents, before we have this meeting with them. So we can take a look at that, have a chance to look at that, and then they would like to come and talk to us.
Okay.
Yeah, okay, you all see the policy for the newspaper policy and stuff, and things like that. I'd just like to have us or somebody take a look at everything that goes out and gets published or goes out. I've had a couple things go out, as you all know, that we didn't, proofread, and we should. So, that's my feelings. It's a pretty simple policy. Does anybody have any comments on it?
No, and given our history, it's not a bad idea.
No.
Right.
I agree.
We can dig ourselves.
I'll make a motion that gets adopted.
Motion by Sean.
Seconded by Dale.
Any discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, none. The only other thing I had here is I had an electrician look at the lighting and the things in the town office today. Because the lighting is real poor in the work area and the town clerk's area in this foyer and in the back room where the copiers are. So I got prices coming on putting some new lights, LED. He took a look at the lights that we have and said they're awful. And we went.
There's gotta be some money around
How long
for
was?
that. There's gotta be huge.
Yeah, National Grid will reimburse you.
Yeah,
You gotta have them come and do they'll do a fixture count for you.
yeah, I'm doing it right now. Rise Engineering.
Yeah, they'll
Did
come,
mine out at-
fixture count, and they'll allow you so much. They'll even come and change them.
Yep, they do.
Yeah.
It's great.
Yeah.
I did like it's $120,000, which is highly inflated, but I think I'm paying like $1,000.
Yeah.
It's all LEDs, shower heads, aerators, all that stuff.
Because not too long ago, we replaced a bunch of bulbs with the LED bulbs. Didn't help much. And there's not enough fixtures, so. I'll look into that further then. I don't have anything else. We need to go into executive session to discuss the history of a current employee. And Tom would like to talk to us in executive session for a minute.
All right, I'll make a motion.
Motion by Sean.
Go into executive session and invite Tom Gardner.
I'll second that
Second by
motion.
Dale. Any discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, no.
Okay, stretch.